have like meat?
Yeah.
I mean, like hamburger, things like that.
Yeah, it does. Morning, everyone. Y'all see me? I don't know if y'all see me or not. All right. We left off on... I want to say we left off on 18. Chapter 18 of the Wisdom of Solomon. Y'all want to take a break and do some other book, maybe? There's Esdras. There's Jonah. There's... what do we got? Judith. I think we've read Judith. Esther. We read Esther. Sirach. The letter of Jeremiah. Yeah, let's take a break. Let's take a little break on the Wisdom of Solomon. And let's read... where'd that go? I've just seen the letter of Solomon. Where'd it go? The letter of Jeremiah? Yeah, the letter of Jeremiah. Let's read that. Okay. Here's the introduction. The letter of Jeremiah is in the form of a letter, claiming to be written by the prophet Jeremiah to Jews who are about to be taken into exile. It consists primarily of a lengthy condemnation of idolatry. All right. This is a copy of the letter sent by Jeremiah to the people of Jerusalem just before they were captured by the Babylonian king and taken to Babylon. It contains a message that God has commanded Jeremiah to give them. The people face a long captivity. You have sinned against God. That is why you are about to be taken away as prisoners to Babylon by King Nebuchadnezzar. You will remain there in exile for many years, as long as 7 generations. Then God will lead you peacefully home from Babylon. There in Babylon you will see gods made of wood, silver, gold, gods which people carry on their shoulders, and which fill the heathen with fear. You must be careful never to imitate those Gentiles. Do not let their gods fill you with fear when you see them being carried in procession and being worshipped. Instead, say to yourselves, "It is you alone, Lord, that we must worship." God's angel will be there with you. He will take care of you. The helplessness of idols. It sounds like a pretty bad time for the Jews being taken by Nebuchadnezzar. Their idols are plated with silver and gold and have tongues that were carved by woodworkers. But they are not real gods, and they cannot speak. The people make gold crowns and put them on the heads of their gods as if these idols were girls who love jewelry. Sometimes the priests steal the silver and gold from their gods and spend it on themselves. They even give some of it to the temple prostitutes. People take these gods of wood, silver, and gold and put clothing on them as if they were human. But even though the gods are dressed up in purple robes like kings, they still cannot keep themselves from being tarnished or protect themselves from termites. When dust from the temple settles on their face, someone has to wipe it off for them. Like human judges, they hold scepters in their hands, but they have no power to punish anyone who wrongs them. Sometimes they have daggers and axes in their hands, but they cannot protect themselves from being destroyed in a war or being carried off by thieves. All of this proves that they are not gods. Do not worship them. Those gods sitting there in their temples are useless as a broken bull. Their eyes are filled with dust that the people kick up when they come in. The priests fortify the temples with doors and bars and bolts so that thieves cannot break in. The gods are locked up as securely as prisoners to be executed for a crime against the king. The priests light lamps for the gods, far more than they need for their own use, but the idols can't even see one of them. Their insides are eaten away by termites, just like the wooden beams of the temple, and their clothing is destroyed, but they don't even know it. Their faces are blackened by smoke in the temple. That swallows and other birds perch on them, and even cats sit on them. All of this proves that they are not gods. Do not worship them. These idols have been plated with gold to make them beautiful, but they do not shine unless someone polishes them. When they were being poured into molds, they felt nothing. It makes no difference how high a price is paid for them. They are still unable to breathe. See how useless they are? They can't walk on their own feet, but must be carried around. Even those who take care of them are embarrassed when one of their gods falls to the ground and has to be picked up again. When someone stands, one of them is in a certain place, it cannot move. And if it is leaning over, it cannot straighten itself up. Offering gifts to them is like giving gifts to a corpse. Priests sell what is sacrificed to their gods and use the money on themselves, and the wives of the priest preserve the sacrifice with salt for later use, instead of sharing them with the poor and helpless. Even women who are having their monthly period or women who have just given birth are allowed to touch the sacrifices. All of this proves that they are not gods. Do not worship them. How can they ever be called gods when women are allowed to make offerings to these gods made of wood and silver and gold? These priests even sit in the temples when they are all in mourning, with torn clothing and shaved, uncovered heads. The priests roar and shout in the presence of their gods as if they are taking part in a funeral feast. They take the clothing off their gods and give it to their wives and children. It doesn't matter whether a person helps or harms these gods, since they cannot pay him back. They are not able to make anyone king or to dethrone him. And they cannot make a person wealthy or give him any money. If someone makes a vow to them but does not keep it, they will never make him pay. They can never rescue a person from death, and they never help a weak person against one who is strong. They cannot restore sight to the blind or save anyone in distress. They cannot offer any mercy or help to widows or orphans. These things made of wood and covered with silver and gold are powerless as stone taken from the mountains. And the people who worship them will be put to shame. How can anyone think that they are gods or call them gods? The foolishness of worshiping idols. The Babylonians bring dishonor on their own gods. When someone cannot speak, they take him to the temple and ask Bel to give them the power of speech, as if Bel could understand anything. But even when the people realize that their gods cannot help, they're stupid enough to go on worshiping them. Not only that, but women wrap cords around themselves and sit alongside the road, burning incense and offering themselves as prostitutes. When one of them is taken off for sex, she returns to ridicule the woman next to her who is not beautiful enough to be chosen. Everything about these idols is false. How can anyone think that they are gods or call them gods? Woodworkers and goldsmiths make these gods so they can never be anything other than what these people want them to be. Even their makers do not live long lives, so how are they able to create gods? These people have leave nothing but deceit and disgrace as an inheritance for future generation. When wars and disturbances come, the priests plan where they can go into hiding with their gods. These idols are helpless in the face of wars and disturbances. You know what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like a teddy bear. Like a grown adult clinging to a teddy bear, thinking that teddy bear is going to rescue him. These idols are helpless in the face of wars and disturbances. Why can't people realize these idols are not gods? These idols are nothing more than wood covered with silver and gold, and one day it will be clear that they are really not gods at all. All nations and kings will realize that idols are nothing more than the power of a god. They do not have the power of a god, and anyone should know that they are not really gods. These gods can never make anyone a king or bring rain. They can't make decisions about their own affairs or give justice to someone who has been wronged. They can do absolutely nothing. They are useless as crows flying around in the air. When a temple catches fire, the priests run away to save themselves, so the gods made of wood and covered with silver and gold are left to burn like wooden beams. They can't fight kings or go to war against enemies. How can anyone believe that these are gods? These gods of wood covered with silver and gold cannot protect themselves from thieves, robbers, who take out the silver and gold from the gods' clothing and walk away with all of it. The gods can do nothing to stop them. Anything from a courageous king to a useful piece of pottery is better than a false god. Even a door is better than a false god. A door at least protects the things in the house. Even a wooden pillar in a palace is better than a false god. God provided the sun, the moon, and the stars to give light, and they obey him. The same is true of lightning and wind. The lightning can be seen far and wide, and when the wind blows everywhere, when God commands clouds to spread out over the whole world, they obey. When God sends down fire from heaven to burn up mountains and forests, it does what it is told. Idols cannot do these things. They cannot even do a good imitation. Why should they be called gods when they are not able to help us, harm us in any way? You know that they are not gods. Do not worship them. These gods have no power over kings. They cannot pronounce curses on them or grant them blessings. They cannot produce for the nations any sign in the sky. They cannot shine like the sun or the moon. Even the wild animals are better off than these idols. Animals can at least run from danger to protect themselves. So it is absolutely clear that they are not gods. Do not worship them. These gods of theirs, made of wood and covered with silver and gold, are about as helpful as a scarecrow in a cucumber patch. They are no protection at all. They do as much good as a thorn bush in a garden. Instead of keeping birds away, they provide a perch for them. These gods are like a dead body thrown out into the darkness. The purple linen robes they wear rot away, so we know that they are not gods. Finally, they will be eaten by termites, and then no one anywhere will have any use for them. The righteous person has an advantage over others. He does not own any idols, and they can never make a fool of him. And that's that. The letter to Jeremiah. So the lesson in that is, don't put your trust in false idols and false gods. All these gods like, I don't even know all the gods now. I know like Buddha, Muhammad, whatever the Maharishi and all them and their cult try and worship or something. It's like they're all false gods. They don't really have power. A lot of times we put our trust, I think, in our devices, like our tablets and our iPhones and Androids, Google, all that AI BS. We put all our trust in it, and we just assume that that is the right answer. I think we subconsciously do it sometimes, even though we really, in the back of our mind, know that they don't have every answer. We tend to lean on our social media apps and platforms. And in a sense, that's kind of idolatry too. Because really, that's all just man-made. It's no different than a clay idol or a wood idol or a golden idol that's made by man's hands. Because eventually it's gonna fall apart, it's gonna crumble, it's not gonna be around forever. And even if it is, it was made by man, and men are imperfect. We were made by God. So why would we worship and trust in something that was made by our own hands? It's just asking for failure. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a great day, a great week. I'll talk to you later. God bless.